So it's Saturday the 13th of March and I understand that I am in Team Woodcutter, which is very exciting. And I'm just here looking at some new seeds today. And I'm going to be planting these guys directly outside into the allotment. So the spring onions and lettuce and pea shoots can go straight into the ground. And then these seeds are quite old, but I've got some turnips, carrots and parsnips, which will be going straight into the ground in a minute. And then these seeds I actually bought quite a long time ago and they need to be sown by 2021. So I'm actually just going to scatter them in between one of my raised beds and the polytunnel. I'm hoping for a nice sort of structured like flower bed with all these different varieties in. Not massive on my flowers, so that's what we got. And then these boys are indoor jobbies. So I'm going to get them in some little pots, probably on a windowsill, just so they sprout and I can take them out in a few months' time when things start to heat up in the UK. Again, same with echinacea. I've actually bought a few echinacea sort of bulbs that were sort of semi-living and sprouting, so they're out in the allotment already, but hopefully if the ones outside don't work, we've got some little seedlings that will be getting going. I really like the flower on these, they're really cool. And obviously I understand that echinacea have got some cool health properties, so maybe a bit of research into how to extrapolate that and use that. And then yeah, I'm gonna get some kale going as well. I absolutely love this variety. It's really easy to grow, and when you get it established, it lasts, you know, all summer long when it gets going, and then most of the winter. And I think it's just about coming to the end of use now outside. So really decent plant to feed you all the time. But yeah, I'm going to label them up now. Actually, I'm going to use these plastic ones, which I've cut off just from a yogurt pot, and I thought I'd use these instead because they probably won't biodegrade, whereas those outdoors will just get probably mouldy and decompost over time. And I'll use these again. You can just wipe them clear and start again, so you know, I won't be leaving plastic outside. So yeah, let's see how we get on. So yeah, here we have it. Made the little labels. So this will just go in the soil, poking up next to the vegetable or the flower. That's a nice little tip. Just reusing yogurt pots or any plastic packaging that you'd throw out. So yeah. So I'm out here in the garden, just having a little look at the beds. This is a bit annoying. I had a yellow azalea in there that I was given by my brother-in-law, and it never really took off. And I've been hoping it was gonna sprout, but I think 1 year later, still no sign of life. So I think I'm gonna pull it, unless other people think that there's some life in it, but I'm pretty sure that looks dead to me. So maybe that is time to go. Got plenty of opportunity there for the new seeds to get some new colour. And then what I'm going to do is take my compost, which will be looking really nice now, and top up the beds. It's so windy everywhere. My fabric pots blown everywhere. It's been crazy just recently. Nice sign of spring. All buds coming through. The pear tree starting to blossom. Blackcurrants. Last year I tried to create a really nice flower bed here, but I don't know how much of the stuff survived. Red hot poker seems to survive, but the rest seem to have died, and it'll be interesting to see this year now if stuff comes through. That is my asparagus patch. I topped it with some compost. Dead matter the other day. Got a surviving celery from last year. sprockets. And yeah, I've top dressed all this with some compost. I'll be using this bed for salads and spring onions, I think, this year, with the asparagus there. And my little bathtub planter. Probably need to do some of this rose. Any advice on what to do with roses would be useful. I'm being very lazy, I can just look it up on YouTube myself. But I've got a rose there, got a little rose there, and of course I've got the roses next to my pond. Look like they're gonna hopefully see some nice growth this year. So we've got some some spinach, some leaf beet. We've got some purple sprout broccoli just coming on. Three purple sprout broccoli plants there. Definitely have left these, and they need some love because they're pretty much on the ground. Should have been staked up for support. And then got some spring onions. Probably from seed last year, if I'm honest, come through. Some leeks that probably need pulling up now. What I have done is I've planted a load of garlic bulbs, garlic cloves, all around them. And got some more purple sprout broccolis here. Last year that I was referring to indoors, and I think they're going to be going to seed now, so they'll be coming up shortly. And then yes, for me to decide then what goes here into this raised bed. I'm going to try and top it up with some nice compost. I've got this is my biggest raised bed by a long way, and all at the back there I've laid potatoes down. I actually left some potatoes in the ground last year. And haven't pulled up the majority of them, so it's going to be a mixture between what was left in the ground from last year and some new ones that I've actually pulled up that were growing in my polytunnel. And I've just pulled them up, they were chitting, and put them down here. And there's going to be some surface ones that are a bit wilty, but look like they're growing already. I'll be chucking a load of compost and organic stuff on top, but it was a bit of an experiment last year. I just threw loads of stuff on top, and it's going to be quite, it's still quite tough, but there's a lot of organic matter built into this, and hopefully it won't cause any issues. My soft fruit patch definitely needs looking after, but all looking pretty good, starting to come to life now. Spring is here. Had a little bit of a trim the other day, but probably needs a bit of work. Grew my three sisters here last year, so I grew squash, corn on the cob, and what was the other one? Corn on the cob, squash, and I can't remember what the third one is for three sisters, but they were all there anyway in harmony. So I'm going to have to mix up this year. Probably move the brassicas away from this patch now, because they've been there. Maybe brassicas there, maybe squash there, something similar. And then go into the polytunnel. If anyone knows or has got any advice on grapevines, again, being lazy, I could probably jump on YouTube, but this is the grapevine I planted last year, and it seems like it's grown really well. I'm not sure how much you're supposed to cut that back, but it looks fairly dead. So any advice anyone wants to give me on grapevines would be appreciated. Leave it in the comments. And then yeah, I'm going to give this a nice water over the coming days and weeks and clean it up a little bit, but I'll be starting to plant into the ground. I'm just giving it a nice tidy up and clean up my little projects that I've been trying to reuse compost from potted plants. So I've been storing it in these black black plastic sacks, adding food scraps and just garden waste to them, and then letting that sort of compost, a bit of water over the winter. But this one, obviously very dry at the minute, but there was a lot of food scraps in there, and I put some worms in there with it as well. So I'm hoping now that is a bit more rejuvenated and ready to use again this year. So yeah, bar a little tidy up, we're looking fairly good, and hopefully exciting season ahead. Got my cold frame there, which I'll probably get help moving shortly. Probably pop it on there, plant some stuff into the ground there. I've actually just recently, as per my earlier comments, planted some little baby echinacea plants. So I've got 3 on the go. I've used this stick to sort of show me not to step on it. So I've got one there, as you can see, which looks alive. Got one there and one there. I really like echinacea. It looks like a really beautiful flower. So I'm hoping in front of my productive raised bed there'll be some nice colour there with the pinks and the purples that they produce. And then this is the flower bed that I'm hoping to sort of section off and add some nice flowers to have a nice contrast between vegetables and some really nice nectar producing flowers, and just get all the wildlife working together. This is a bit of an embarrassment. I've just left my Brussels sprouts. I didn't even use them. I used a few, but really that's just laziness and not picking them. So again, a question to everyone: would you leave that seed and allow for the plants, the wildlife to really feed on it, or would you pull it up? Got my prize-winning artichoke plants, which just keep growing year on year and producing loads of growth, which I just leave and mash down, and it almost forms like a mulch, and it seems to be feeding the plant really well, and it produces some good stuff. Again, mulch on top of my pear tree. And then this is quite hay-like at the minute, so I need to smash that up. But I know underneath all that, when I take this top stuff off, there's be some really good compost underneath there, which I'm putting on the raised bed soon. And again, similar to what I was talking about, polytunnel. It looks like some really good stuff in there now. And I'm using these bags with my manure the raised beds a nice little bit of energy in the head. You can see there's actually worms. Put them in there, let them do their thing. One over here, my beetroot, and then there's all my raspberries. Loads of strawberries, net. Pretty much it, guys.